All right, we are live. What is up, everybody? I'm here with Bryce and Grant. Grant just got his milk, so we're ready to go.
Milk secured, ready to roll.
Now we just need cookies.
All right, so we're going to start by talking about the game last week against Purdue. Grant, you can start us.
All right. So, wasn't exactly sure what to expect last week, obviously. The line started at 12 and a half and moved all the way down to 7.5. And whenever you think of that, you're like, well, what does Vegas know? What does Vegas know that we do not know? Um,
They
Still
know
was
that they
very
watched the NIU game. That's what they know.
God, I don't even want to talk about that game. That game was just something else, dude, entirely. I don't even have words. Like we talked about discussing it, but I don't even know that it needs discussed because just I don't even know what to say about it other than just gross.
Yeah.
Um, but came out and looked like the team that we were more supposed to be offensively, which is what we've always been. It seems is a ground and pound. My thought at this point is you already have a loss. You need to win every game. Run Riley Leonard into the ground whatever it takes, and that's what they did. I mean, they're basically saying he has a partially torn or torn labrum at this point. That's at least what you pick up from some of the mainstream media that's going around. Um, and he was running it like he did not care about his shoulder at all. So if he's doing that, then just do what you have to do to win.
We have a good backup anyway. I'm not even worried about him.
Well, and that's exactly, and that's the thing with Angeli, arguably outside of like Texas and maybe a handful of other schools, you probably have a pretty reliable backup. And winning games like Purdue and getting him a whole another quarter and some change of experience is something that's going to be valuable possibly next season and maybe even later this year. Who knows?
Yeah,
But
I'd argue he's like a veteran now.
I mean, he's a junior. I mean, he's been in the offense, he's been in the systems, he's been consistent, he's
Bowl
practiced.
game, like he's played.
His mobility is just so iffy. It just makes it, especially with our O line, it makes
I
it
don't I
really
don't think that
iffy.
really matters. I think he has enough to dodge sacks. He doesn't need to be
Yeah,
that mobile.
true. I think. Oh, I mean, you looked great. Love and Price looked like what they were all week long. I heard about Purdue's All-American safety and how good he was, and they compared him to Harrison Smith probably because he's white. But they they had some guys on defense that can play. Um,
When
and they
Price
just looked
scored,
bad. They just
Bryce
looked
had
really
a
bad.
Bryce bet Price the score, and I was like, he's probably gonna score. And the next fucking play, he just takes off, and I'm like, oh my god, and Bryce is going crazy.
Yeah. Trying to run out the half and he just breaks one. But that's literally what we knew. The reason that I wasn't worried about our running back room this year coming off of Estime is that as good as Estime was, Love and Price are literally a play away. And Love has proven that at A&M. He
Yep.
proved it at NIU. They've both proven it against Purdue. I mean, you're talking about guys that are literally you took a bad angle, we're gone scoring. And that's just what happened. And that happened all game long. Riley Leonard made them look like that. I've never seen someone look so slow but be so fast. I mean, it looks like Peyton Manning out there trying to take off out of the pocket, but he just goes, dude. And he runs with a certain attitude that kind of makes him always fall forward. I mean, I know he's a bigger guy, but it looked great. What were your thoughts about the game, Tyler?
I can tell you. Oh, you're good.
Go ahead, go ahead.
Honestly, it was impressive for especially how you looked against NIU, not looking prepared for like a reverse or anything like that. But you
Mm-hmm.
wonder if it comes down just to preparation and not players. You guys have the right players, but do you have the right coaches?
Yeah,
Yeah, that
that's what
question
makes me
definitely got
wonder it too.
raised.
I'm like, it was great. It was a great win. It felt good, but it also pissed me off because it's like, what the fuck were we doing against NIU?
Yeah.
Still,
And I
still
think NIU
questionable
is good,
passing.
but we weren't running any competitive plays against NIU at
I want to
all.
see pass plays today. I want to see the
Yeah.
ball travel more than 20 yards in the air and be caught by a wide receiver and
Yep.
him run. I
You
want
said
to
20 yards? How
at
about
least
like 6?
Yeah.
We didn't even throw it 6 yards down the field against NIU. That was the
I
problem.
want to see a medium throw pass, man.
Yeah.
Just
Some of
anything.
it is Riley just has to get, and you can hear it. You hear it on Irish Breakdown, Blue and Gold, all these things, all these different outlets. He has to get more comfortable in the pocket, dude. Like, I know that our O line isn't like the most outstanding group of guys, but like, can you stand in the pocket and get hit and make a throw? Like,
I mean,
he
we
if it,
faced the number 1 D lineman week 1.
yes, the
NIU
literal
wasn't the same as A&M.
no, no. It's just one of those things where you just kind of wonder. Like Freeman basically was like, "Oh, we read our clippings, and we started to believe it, so we kind of thought it'd be like." I don't know how you're in year 3 and you're still having to learn that lesson,
Yeah.
but we just talked about it, off air. NIU could be a blessing in disguise. Like refocus, lock in. We play a lot of games that don't seem to matter this year. It's just how the schedule is. You know how they set their schedules years out. That's how this one panned out. And it got only worse with DJU down there at freaking Florida State chucking the ball for negative yards every game. Like, I mean, it's only gotten worse. So like line up and play, dude. Just be who you are offensively. If you can casually grow, it seems like it was like trying to be against NIU. You were trying to force growth. Like if you just let it happen more naturally, let each game the O line gets under their belt, each game that Riley gets under his belt, he should get more comfortable in theory. I mean, you're talking about a guy who didn't play in the spring because of his ankle thing. He didn't play in you're basically split reps with him and a bunch of other guys. Like, how did you expect him to come in and just ball? I mean, I'm guilty. I expected him to be a lot better than what he is or has been. But at this point, I've kind of accepted what he's going to be this year, and that's going to basically be a running back who can throw the ball a little bit. So run him into the ground.
Yeah, and we just the NIU game, because me and Grant have coached, not football. Grant has. I've never coached football. But at halftime, let's reevaluate what's happening and what we're doing that's not working. Why is that not a thing?
Halftime adjustments, man.
Yeah, but I feel like most teams don't, but we sure as shit didn't do any halftime adjustments that game. You're like, you know what? All these fucking plays that we planned for, scrap them. We're running different fucking plays. This is not working. Stop fucking around.
Yeah. I mean, it's so hard to say. I felt like there was like a level of arrogance against NIU where you were like, we got it. Like we might not cover, but we got it.
I think so too, Grant. But in the middle of the third quarter, when it's that score, at what point does the arrogance go away? Quit being fucking stupid. The coaching has to change your mindset.
Yeah, they really looked unprepared for that game for sure. I mean, if it really just came down to coaching, it's as simple as like telling your coaches to be like, hey, I know it's not a big game, but it's like, please prepare your people right, or just do your job. It's like people say it all the time, just do your job.
Yeah, and I would
Just
argue
do
the
your job.
defense did. The defense really, after starting out not great, they played well. They didn't play perfect, but they can't do it all when our offense just 3 and out.
It just sucked when, and I mean, again, the offense completely set this up, but like when you needed the defense, just please God, just stop them. Please God, just get off the field. You force third and longs, fourth downs, and you don't get off the field the last drive and just let them milk 6 minutes.
Yeah.
Like in fairness, they were probably gassed because they were basically on the field the whole freaking game because our offense sucks a fat one. But I mean, you just needed it in that moment and you didn't get it, and it was disappointing. I think that is the knock. And then like the 200 yards rushing, like
that guy is a beast.
That running back, NFL caliber
he really
running
did
back.
look good.
He's an NFL caliber running
Their
back.
Their quarterback made good throws when he needed to, too. You talk about clutch throws or just needing to get it done when he did. Do your job. He was doing his job. 3rd and 8, need a click slant, boop, dart.
There was a level of luckiness and flukiness in conjunction with them just playing really well and Notre Dame not playing well, that just all the stars aligned. And you hate to see that for Notre
And
Dame.
that's the thing that, like, all the stars aligned, but Notre Dame not playing well is the only star that I'm worried about.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah,
is
so,
that what we're gonna see today? I mean, just to transition into today. Today's a day
Right.
like NIU, right?
Yeah, in theory,
This team
it
we're
is.
playing is not bad. I've heard all week they have a good defense. They can score.
Mm-hmm.
This could be NIU all over again. I don't think it will be, but it wouldn't fucking surprise me.
The only reason I don't think it will be is because I think when we didn't have the loss coming out of A&M, they got cute, they got complacent, they thought they could just do whatever. Every game we play now, we're gonna come out and you're gonna see like an intentionality or a purpose that the purpose we have with running the ball. Like it's gonna be like we are gonna just do what we are good at until we are so far ahead that we can maybe start to consider trying some different stuff. And even then, maybe not. Like I just think it's gonna be called differently, but maybe I could be wrong. I mean, today will be telling. Next week will be the test. Like, in my opinion, well, I'm not saying Louisville is a great team, but Louisville is a good team. If you handle Miami how you handled Purdue, what happens after Louisville, or what happens when Louisville comes to town, that's going to tell me everything I need to know about where this season is headed. I mean, in all honesty, because you lose trust with NIU, but I think how you handled Purdue, if you handle Miami of Ohio in a similar fashion, if you beat a good Louisville team at home and you don't look like a complete putz on offense, I think you kind of have regained some of my trust back, especially with looking at what the schedule looks like the rest of the year. I'm super curious to see what USC does, but until then, you're really not going to see another true, legitimate, what should be test. Like you should handle everything in front of you past Louisville for certain.
Yeah, just like we should have handled NIU. It's so easy to say.
Yep.
So easy to fucking say.
Yeah.
So we got to handle today.
Absolutely. No, completely agree. And it's just one of those things where it's like, if that doesn't sum up what Notre Dame football has been, honestly, even under Brian Kelly, that's how it felt. Like, except
for sure, we had our years
especially
though.
Yeah,
with
especially
BK.
in the beginning of BK's careers, they felt the exact same as like what happened with Marcus Freeman.
Yeah.
And then there was a turning point probably
But
about
we did have
halfway
Tommy
through.
Reese at quarterback. I feel like that's the difference.
Yeah. I mean, there was a turning point when somewhere about halfway through his career at Indy where he started to win all the games that he should. And we rattled off that huge streak of consecutive ACC wins where we were just beating everyone we should. But we never could win a big game. Ever in eternity could we not win a big game. Like,
do you think Brian Kelly with transfer portal though would have helped him at Notre Dame? Maybe because maybe Brian Kelly transfer portal might have been able to go and get the pieces
we could have
you guys
got a
didn't
quarterback
have.
besides Reese. I for sure think it would have.
I think to a point it could, but I will say this.
And he didn't have that, and he still put up decent records. I mean, he definitely blew the big games and came whatever, but it's like when you win 10, 11 games and you're kind of handcuffed like you are at Notre Dame. You're just handcuffed. So
this is what I'll say. And I told you this before, Bryce. This defense this year in particular, and honestly, I think years moving forward because of how they recruit on the defensive side of the ball specifically, they've never been this deep in our lifetime. They have never been like Notre Dame could legit roll out their third, fourth corner, and I think we'd probably still be okay. Like I've never felt like that. Remember when Julian Love was like the only defensive back that Notre Dame had, and then was it 12? Was it 2012 or was it a different year, a playoff year where he got hurt? And
what do you think
it was
the
like
offensive ranks of the teams Notre Dame's played so far are? Like, where do you think Purdue, NIU, and Texas A&M hit offensively?
Oh, Purdue
probably not very well. So I don't know if you guys have been tested really yet.
No, we haven't.
No.
NIU's probably the best offense.
NIU might have been because Wigman looked like poop.
Yeah, but I mean,
and he looked
luckily for Notre Dame. I mean, let's see how NIU's season plays out. But so far, A&M's winning. They just went to the swamp and won. I know Florida's reeling.
If NIU wins out, that probably does boast well for you guys because they'll finish ranked. And if they finish
Yes.
ranked, they'll be fine. Like that loss
Yeah,
won't look as bad. It
yeah.
will be
If they
whatever.
they could make the playoff, man. They could be
Yeah,
12.
Yeah.
there's going to be some lower schools that make it.
Yeah. I think that if NIU they they if they finish like with one or two losses, but they beat like they play NC State coming up. If you beat NC State, you win some bigger games. And hang on one second.
NC State is kind of. I've seen people predicting them today to get kind of tallywhacked around by Clemson. People are like, Cade Klubnik's about to destroy them or something, but we'll see. I'm not very high on NC State this year, but they're probably a team that could like surprise some people.
You're high on Tennessee today.
Tennessee, yes, I would lean Tennessee for sure. I feel like everyone's leaning Tennessee, but people try to get too sharp sometimes, even myself. Like you just look at a game so long and the points and everything, and you're like, you go back and
Yeah.
forth. It shifts a couple points, and you want to be like, maybe I was looking at the under, now I'm looking at the over, or vice versa.
Yeah. I'm trying to. What was I talking about before?
NC State.
If they win the games they should, if they can win the MAC, like, is it a bad loss still? Yes, but at least they won the MAC. I mean, that would be something. I mean, if you have to hang your hat on a rusty nail that Notre Dame would, at least you could
Yeah,
say, hey,
I
it
would
was a
argue
good MAC team.
that's a lot better loss than we've had in the past. I think they
Yeah.
were a lot, but at the same time, we still should have won. That's what pisses me off.
Absolutely. Yeah, though the Purdue game brought to light a lot of emotions because while you were so happy to see them respond in that fashion, you were so pissed at what should have happened to NIU. Like it's
Yeah.
like a lot of analysts were like, NIU, I don't care what you say, is not even better than Purdue. Like that's what people were saying. I don't know if that's true, but regardless,
NIU looks better than Purdue for sure. I
Yeah, I
wonder who
think
would
they
win. I would
did.
love to see NIU play Purdue. That would actually give me a better gauge how better like good Notre Dame is damn near.
Yeah.
yeah. I think this week though, like Tyler was saying, Chuck Martin is a former Notre Dame guy. He loves Notre Dame. He always hypes them up. Um, I think what's important is what can how can you win? Like how do you win and how can you win? They've got a decent team. From all accounts, they don't have a guy like NIU had. They don't have that Ontario Brown type of player where he's NFL caliber. Their quarterback isn't quite as good as NIU's quarterback, but overall they're set. They're a sound MAC team. Put it that way. They're a sound MAC team for whatever that's worth.
What's their position in the MAC right now? Do you know?
I couldn't even tell you. I don't think they played a lot of conference games so far. I think they've been in their out of conference stuff, but honestly, I don't know. Are you finding it?
Have you
I'm just
guys
trying
looked
to
at?
find their. I'm just trying to find their matchup. I'm just curious. Like, I mean, it's the MAC team, so it's whatever. You guys should win by 28. You guys, honestly, it might not be a bad sprinkle just to be like, I think you guys do what you did against Purdue, minus 40, plus 300,
Yeah.
whatever it is. Like,
Yeah, like take a massive
it's
spread.
a MAC team against a top 15, 20 program like every year. It's like they don't have the same resources. They don't have any of the same shit.
No. I mean, something to
So
watch though is the O line. Tyler, I know that we've talked about O line in the past, but like now we're sitting here. This is week 4. Notre Dame's lost their starting left tackle before the season even began. We've lost our starting center for the season, and now we've lost our right guard for multiple weeks, probably including Louisville, realistically. And somehow we get more experienced. Pat Coogan slides into center. Rocco Spindler slides into right guard. Um, they weren't bad last year. They just weren't great. Like sometimes they did their job and sometimes they didn't. But I would rather have that coming in than people who've never played.
Yeah. No,
I mean,
we'll
what
be
they do today
okay.
will be telling. What they do today will be very telling. I'm extremely because Coogan's never played center. Like they were really trying to get him like clued into center, in fall ball and whatever summer camp, whatever you want to call it. They are trying to get him up to speed. Thank God we play Miami of Ohio this week and not freaking Louisville, because Louisville actually has some dogs on their D line, some NFL caliber guys, and I think they need a week at least to just mesh. But we are like we are like an O line injury away from like pure just chaos on our offensive line. Like losing 3 linemen, being down 3 of your starting 5 today, 3 or 4 weeks into the season is brutal. That would be brutal for anyone, and it's
Yeah,
going to be especially brutal for
insane.
us.
And it's all been on fluky shit too, just getting
Yep, getting
on.
rolled up on.
Not
Well,
even
with
like
Freeman's recruiting, it should be replaced, man. He's preaching free. Let's see Freeman's recruiting come to
three's
fruition
a
now.
lot though, man. Like we're
There
talking
was
2
a
away from our whole starting O line.
Yeah, this has been discussed before. I've seen on like certain other platforms where there was a class, and I want to say it was the class before Freeman was a head coach, so maybe his first year at DC. They did not take the appropriate amount of O linemen in that class, which is why now you have this situation where Blake Fisher and Joe Alt go pro as juniors because they're monsters, and you are now left with no depth. You have 5th-year mammoth Tosh Baker, could not have been a bigger disappointment so far. He was a former top 100 guy, a massive human being, but disappointing career thus far. And that's it. And then besides that, it's way, way, way underclassmen. Now, the question is, can you hold on until you can, if you need to make a change where you can throw in a Sullivan Absher at a guard spot, can you hang on till Gerby Lambert, in my opinion, 5-star caliber freshman? Can you get halfway through the year and then make a change out to him? Because he's a mammoth, 6'7", 6'8", 330, just huge. Looks like an SEC O lineman. Can we hang on? Can we develop during the season and hang on? That's really what the question becomes at O line. If we get one more injury, we are one injury away from what the hell is going to happen now.
What would this O
Practice
line look like
squad.
against A&M? A&M would have probably tore this O line up.
I mean, without Shroud, you're probably right. Without Shrouth and without Craig, yeah, I don't know what would have happened. You're talking about a guy who would have never have played the position before going in there and snapping. And if you were like top 10 guys before the season, hey, who can you not afford to lose? I guarantee you that Jagasaw and Ashton Craig would have been top of that list.
Yeah, Grant's knowledge of Notre Dame runs way deeper than me because I've yet to see some of these people or hear about them.
Well, Jagasaw was like a 5-star lineman. I mean, he just stud. He started the bowl game last year. Everything, they've got him projected as an NFL guy already as a sophomore, a redshirt freshman. And you get these situations where Craig started 3 games at center last year, and he looked good and he looked the part. And center is such a huge position on the O line, calling out protections and everything like that. So you lose Jagasaw, that hurts bad because it's a talent standpoint. But Craig hurts bad from a mental standpoint because the next guy you have coming in has never played center ever. I mean, regardless
That's
of what
not
he's
ideal.
done.
Yeah, it's not ideal for center snapping.
So it just kind of goes back to we are an injury away from having a guy who's never played a snap probably playing center for Notre Dame. That is
Perfect.
a terrible place to be. And you're not only going to be that, you're going to have a true freshman left tackle, pretty much any way you cut it, a true freshman left tackle. You're going to have a backup right guard next to him, and it's just not going to be good. I mean, we desperately need to get to this game healthy. But you know what else we could use? Let's beat the dog shit out of them like we did Purdue, and let's get our backups in there and get them some reps, man. Live game reps. We need
Just
it
leave
so
your
bad.
freshman in there. Just leave that left tackle in there the whole game.
They can't afford for him to get hurt. Like, as bad as he needs reps, you can't afford for him to go down. But I'm saying, like, get him out. Get your guys who you're like, okay, these 2 guys are probably our next in. Those guys need every damn rep of the second half if they can get it. They need it. It
You
is a
wonder
need.
if it's more likely for your players to get hurt running more or passing more. Because with you guys pounding the
Probably
ball,
running.
It seems
if
like
you guys
running.
pound the ball more, yeah, you're gonna get rolled up from behind. Like something's you're gonna get turned around blocking, and someone's just gonna get
Yeah.
pushed and roll.
What's
So
funny to me is
it's just
Strauss'
like, man,
injury looked
just
so much
throw
worse
it.
to me on screen. Strauss' injury looked way worse. It's like, well, Strauss is done for the year, but Craig should be fine. And based on how they walked off, that's what I thought. They come back and it's the opposite. So you just never know. And
I was even your O line. Like, I don't really like his Notre Dame as much as you guys, but I was more sad about the flying Hawaiian being out.
the flying Hawaiian.
Botello.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, that sucks.
Botello going down. That's something we haven't even touched on yet. Botello going down. What is that
That's
even?
sad. This is your guys' own team, man. You don't even know the flying Hawaiian.
No, you call them the flying Hawaiian. We've had, if Notre Dame's had anything over the years, it's pretty much they've had one flying Hawaiian every year. There was
Yeah, I'd say multiple.
Alohi Gilman, Manti Te'o. We've literally had a flying Hawaiian like every single year. So I was like, which one? No, but
The big one you just lost.
But Botello's injury, man, he was literally playing his best ball, and arguably, I don't even know if it's arguable. I think he was performing as the best defensive lineman that we had. So we'll see how everything.
It just sucked because you knew right when he got injured, like the way he was sitting, he was very calm. It wasn't even like he was freaking out either. He just knew, and it was sad. He just knew. He just
you
knew
saw how he
something
did it. He beat the O lineman, planted his leg, and that was it. Like he knew it right away.
Yeah, just the way he was holding it, you knew it was not good. And they
Yeah.
brought out the cart, and you're like, he's just done for the year. You even need to hear him come back and say what injury was. You're like, he's done for the year.
Yep. You can just see the non-contact injury and be like, yep, how he grabbed his knee. No one pushed him down.
It sucks, dude. It really, like, Notre Dame's lucky because he was a fifth-year senior, but it sucks for him. But I mean, they probably have someone to replace him. It's not that big of a deal, but
I mean, it'll be a big deal for sure. We can replace him, but some people you can replace, but it'll never be the same level.
you might have to scheme differently. If you really
Yeah.
lose someone that good, you kind of have to scheme differently because different players are good at different stuff, and sometimes your team doesn't have that direct replacement all the time.
Yeah.
And that's what
Well-
divides like coaches from being great and good and bad. Some people are
sure.
great at just taking this player and be like, "You're great at this. I'm putting
And-
you here."
And that's the thing. You said it right there. Do we have coaches that can do what you just said?
I think
Yeah.
we do on the defensive side of the ball. I'm more confident in that. And I'll say one thing that's interesting. So Burnham's hurt right now with an ankle. You just lost Botello. We're going to see a ton of Bryce Young, who's the son of former Notre Dame and NFL player Bryant Young. And I'm sure you guys saw the play. He's been on special teams a ton. He was the guy who flew down there and just absolutely looked like he murdered a Purdue guy. He's like 6'7". He's huge, fast. That's what you want. And he's going to be getting an increase in snaps with some injuries. D-line's the one position outside of like interiorly. You don't want to lose Cross, Mills, or Onye, but at the edge spots, you have some guys. Trey Ori, the guy who got the interception last week, he's going to get a huge uptick in snaps with Botello out, I'm sure.
Dude from Duke.
Dude, Oben's been non-existent, dog. They barely played him against NIU. He has been
It's disrespectful.
arguably the biggest disappointment out of the transfer portal. And you can say Riley Leonard, but at least Riley's out there playing. RJ's like, I can't even get on the field damn near.
But you
He's
got to
gotta
think
be better.
Leonard
He
was
has
going
to
into
be.
a position battle like that was already won for him. That dude that from Duke, like your guys' D line is elite, so he was going to be like going up against elite guys to like get playing time more than Riley Leonard with Steven Jelly, you know.
Yeah, but still, even so, you like have to do that though. You have to win that job.
You kind of figured they would have rotated like how Notre Dame always rotates, and they kind of what's is weird, they're not rotating him, and maybe he isn't as good as they thought he was, or maybe he was just better in Mike Elko's system because he's such a good D coordinator, defensive minded coach. I don't know. But that also goes to Notre Dame only taking like graduate transfers too. You guys could always go like a year or two younger if Notre Dame accepted credits.
Yeah, I'm sure they will.
Tyler, how do you see the game shaking out today? Like, what are your What are your thoughts? Maybe we get into predictions and we can talk a little bit about Arch Manning and how he's just going to light up the world today.
Yeah, I was actually just pulling up DK, but the spread is what, like 28? For some reason, all of a sudden, it's not loading for me.
It's terrible off your phone the closer it gets to game time. I don't know what time we play. I gotta scroll it because I'm on.
You play at 7.
Texas A&M, Bowling Green. Oh, we play at 8. Wait, we're minus 44.5.
Notre Dame's minus 27.5. So, and over-under's at 44. I feel like this game is the exact same as the NIU game. We could smoke them, and I also would not be shocked if we got beat. And
This is the exact spread I took.
I said that in the NIU game, and you guys you did not believe it for a second. And then it happened. It's not like I called it. I didn't call it. But it's just that kind of game. Because I think they are decent. The MAC is not as far away from the FBS as everyone thinks it is. That I think what the MAC has, the lower players aren't as good, but every MAC team has a couple players that could easily be playing at like a big school.
Yeah,
I would say the top teams. Like I don't think any MAC school is going to go in and really compete with like a Michigan, Texas, Georgia, Bama type deal. Look, Ball State went to Miami last week and got absolutely obliterated into the next world.
Ball State's a bad example.
I'm just saying MAC. They're in the MAC.
A bad one.
They're in the MAC though.
Yeah, but
I'm just saying like the top teams. That's what I'm saying. The top chunk of teams versus that is I think they're still just destroy them. But the middle teams, like you chunk down a little bit, they can kind of compete.
Yeah, and the top MAC teams I think are different than Ball State for sure.
Oh yeah, Ball State's probably the bottom of the barrel.
Yeah, so
hey, chirp.
That's a tough one.
Chirp.
Me and Bryce have led Ball State to multiple natties on our
man. Glory to Muncie.
Our buddy Kyle went to Ball State, and he used to be like the athletic trainer at Ball State, like a student athletic trainer. And there was always these transfers coming in that would get in trouble at like Ohio State and shit that go to Ball State because they got in trouble. So it's like high quality people that can't play anymore where they're supposed to, and then they go to Ball State.
Well, high quality talents, low quality people. Low quality people, high quality talent.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Everybody wants to have a little.
So it's like they have those kind of people if they can get their shit together, but the problem is they don't.
No, they never will. They
don't get their shit together.
Hey, maybe they should just hire us. They can hire all of us. One of us can be the head coach, OC, and DC, and then we got it. Then we can only be mad at ourselves if we get our ass kicked.
Yeah, I think Miami might have won the MAC last year. Not saying that means anything going into this year, but I'm pretty sure they won it last year. So
I would say it means that they have people on their team that are competent.
Yeah,
I would say they're more towards the upper half of the MAC probably. I know Kent State, Toledo runs it a lot. NIU. Is NIU in the MAC? Is like they MAC or is that a different conference?
MAC.
So they're probably MAC. Top of it then because they're ranked.
Ohio think they haven't been, but I think this year they might be okay. But either way, I mean, so are we liking the spread? Like me personally, I think we handle business 27.5. My thought.
Yeah. If I had to pick the spread, I would take the spread, but I probably wouldn't. I'm betting the over though. I think over 44 is a good bet.
Over 44?
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't.
Look what happened last week. There's a chance we put it on them like Purdue.
I just hate it though from the fact that it's like when I don't think the other team's gonna score, it's just like it just psychs me out of it, because then I'm like sitting here thinking, all right, I gotta watch this team score 50 points by themselves because I really don't think this team's gonna do anything. But yeah, when they start throwing passes to you guys and you're just like, okay, touchdown.
Yeah.
I couldn't take the spread out of principle almost just because that's the same exact spread I took against NIU, and it literally just sitting in my mind.
Like that's so memory.
It was so easy. I'm like, Notre Dame's so much better. Their defense is so good. This team doesn't even score. I was like, this is going to be 31-3.
by the third quarter, you were rooting for their running back to score 5 more touchdowns because he looked so good.
Yeah, and I was just like, man,
Yeah.
it just. I don't know. That is Cameron's play or Stewie's play this week. He texted me and said his play of the week was Notre Dame spread, and I said I don't know, even if Tyler and Grant will like that, but I will say it.
I'll say it. I'll say that I like it this week because I think that they're going to be focused. Like I think, like I said, I think NIU is a wake up call, and I desperately need it to be, but I think that it truly was and is. So I think that they'll come out and play with intensity at home. That's what you'd like to see at least. But
yeah, we've heard this same thing before, but Notre Dame is going to Notre Dame. I just hope we don't this week.
exactly.
That's what I thought you guys
Exactly.
would say, and I knew exactly what you guys would say. When he told me that, I just laughed. I said, I can't believe you're picking Notre Dame.
It's something that they just suck you in because you go
It
and you
sucked
beat
me
a
in against
team.
NIU, and that's why I said I'm done. All I got to do
I
is touch
said
the
don't
fire.
touch the spread.
I
against
touched the
NIU.
fire, got burnt once, and I'm cool.
Yeah,
I
literally
did, and I'm
said,
cool.
do not touch the spread against
Last
NIU.
week was 7.5 against Purdue, though, and I took that. I figured
Oh yeah, I hammered
even after
7.5.
NIU, I was like, that feels good, and
Didn't it open at 12? 12 and a
Yeah.
Yeah,
half
it
or
opened at
something?
12.5, and by game day morning at like 5 a.m. I rolled over, and the first thing on my mind was what's the spread. I like checked it, and it was 7.5, and I couldn't believe it. I hammered 7.5, and I hammered the Purdue under total points because I think it was 19.5. And I was like, there's not a snowball's chance in hell that Purdue scores freaking 20 points on this defense. There's no freaking way.
And looking back, it felt like, man, I wish I would have put $1,000 on that.
Dude, it's been so many games because I know not to touch NIU.
But it's so sketchy, dude. Like you just when they've shown you they could do that against NIU,
Oh, I
they could
know.
come out and do that any fucking day. And if you had $1,000 on that and you were like, "Oh my god, am I really about to go through this today like this?" Because that was
I
a
would
gimme.
never bet that kind of money on that spread. But the funniest part about it. So what do we say after they lost
Dude, big
NIU?
spread.
The only positive is that this is going to give us some improved gambling lines to take advantage of in the future. Like that's really all we said about it. And literally the following week, I definitely took advantage of what I knew and what I know to be the issue, I guess, if you will. So hopefully we can take advantage again this week because 27.5 is
It's probably a
should be
little
doable.
light, but it's so gross when you guys don't pass. It's like it's just
I just
gross.
don't it's gross in the scope of the season. It is not gross against the MAC because in theory you should just push them off the ball. I think with NIU we kind of ran into like a situation like we did kind of with that Marshall team where like they had a ton of elders, if you will. They had guys that have been there that wanted
Elders
to
like
be
you
there.
guys, they were matching up age with you guys, just to be fair.
I know. I mean, yeah, but I'm saying that was defensively. Offensively, we are the opposite of elders. We are freaking infants. We literally have sophomores and freshmen everywhere but quarterback, it seems. So it's like, but regardless, still should have won. I'm just saying they had guys that stuck around. They had guys that turned down big NIL money. They had guys who got push, and I mean, like you said, the stars aligned. It is what it is. Do you guys have any other bets from ND that you like at all?
No, but I had a couple for Texas that
Let's hear 'em.
that I'm interested in. So
Let's hear 'em.
Arch was like plus 120 or something. I can't pull it up quick enough right now. But
I got it up.
He was plus something to score a touchdown.
He's minus 105.
Okay, minus 105. And I feel like that's a good bet. He's so fast. I just feel like that's happening.
Do they run him though? Do they want him to even run?
I don't think they have to run him. He ran without needing to run before, and they were talking about how fast he was.
We'll have like some read options. It's not really like the main staple of our offense to like have our quarterback run. It's more we just like catch you slipping, and that's what he did last week. He just caught him slipping and was way faster than everyone in the nation thought he was. Literally.
Yeah, I just got a feeling.
I would say I don't know. Like I think we're gonna blow them out. So I would almost like to like bet some younger players to score. Maybe like they get more usage or whatever. but the value in this game is squeezed. I mean, Gibson's minus 310, Blues minus 290, Bonds minus 190. We got 1, 2, 3, 4. There's like 5 people on our team right here that are all minus 100 or higher to score. Like, what are you going to do with that gambling? You're not doing crap with that.
Who was the dude who got the end around that I told you before that one game that
Ryan Wingo.
Wingo.
Grant
Bryce
decided to
like,
slander
"Go,
Wingo. Grant
go."
slandered Wingo the play before that reverse. Literally slandered the man. I haven't
Yeah.
seen this man one time on the field. Next play, Ryan Wingo reverse.
Yeah.
50-something yards, and I'm jumping up and down. It's like, what did I have? The touchdown
that
score?
was-
Yeah,
funny.
you had it boosted. You
Hold
had
on.
I had
like
it.
10
Yeah,
on
like
it.
I had a bunch. It would have smacked for like 100 or something.
That was
And he got
freaking
tackled right
hilarious.
at the end. It's because he could hear you hating from
Dude,
Indiana.
I was hating because you were like, Texas gets its young receivers into games. You know, I was like, where's the young receivers at? Where are they
No, I
at,
said they get their
though?
young players. I said they get their good young players opportunities. And that
Yeah.
was the only one he had the whole game. He didn't really, but that's all he needed. The one touch.
It's exciting to see Arch play for Texas. What's going to be funny is when Arch literally only starts for one season at Texas. And you're going to be like, how did that happen? How did Arch Manning only start for one season?
You never know,
If
man.
Arch Manning went to Notre Dame, he would have been the starter probably the last 2 years.
He just knows that Notre Dame can't develop him like Steve Sarkisian can.
I mean, that may be true. I also think that Arch Manning was a Texas fan as a kid, so I think that kind of played into it. But, I mean, I'm sure there's more than just that. There's a lot of factors
I
that
don't
go
think
into
it's
it.
guaranteed that he's just goes like a one and done starter, man. I just think like his family, he's got money, he's got everything he needs already. It's like just be ready for when you go to the NFL, and I think that's his number one focus. If he's ready for the NFL in 1 year, I think he will go. Like if he truly believes that in his mind, but he is definitely not the type of person like a lot of these other people are like, I'm one and done to the league. I'm one and done. I'm starting my 1 year and I'm going. That's definitely
Right.
not him. He chose to sit behind Quinn and learn, and I mean, he
Yeah.
doesn't. That's not the type of person he is. So I don't know what could happen. Hopefully he's.
No, I
I
get
mean,
it.
obviously, I hope he's there for 2 years or 3 years or whatever. But we'll see.
It depends on how good he is, right? I mean, if he just goes the fuck off and they're talking
Yeah.
about him being a first overall pick,
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they're already talking about that for Quinn now. They're like, who's better than him right now? Like arm talent. Like
I've seen
Yeah.
Quinn. I've seen a couple mocks. Quinn and Shador Sanders being the top two off the board.
I think I'd much rather have Quinn than
I would
Sanders.
so much rather have
I
Quinn.
would too. I would too. But I'm just telling you what I see.
Sanders is just
Yeah.
coming with too much, man. Like he kind of said some shit. One of them
He's a
said some
head
shit against
case
Nebraska.
already.
Yeah,
Can
I
you
don't
imagine
know.
him in the NFL with like the big dogs hitting him and
Oh my God, they'd be
man, I
saying
don't
shit to him.
know.
They're instantly telling him to go get his daddy. As soon as he hit, they
Yeah.
smack his ass. They're gonna go get your daddy. You already know.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
They already know, man. I don't
I'd
know.
rather-
Quinn's progression from year to year, like he definitely looked better every year. That's what you want. Hopefully he goes to the NFL and keeps developing, but he definitely takes dumbass like little hits. He gets like little injuries every year, it seems like. Nothing major, but like little tweaks and whatever.
I'd rather have Travis Hunter than
Travis
Sanders.
Hunter is a beast. I think Travis Hunter could play corner or wide receiver in the NFL.
He's gonna play both.
We'll see.
I think he's gonna do both. I think you'd be crazy to draft him and not have him play both. At least sometimes. I would argue just have him play corner and bring him in as like a third, fourth receiver on some plays.
Yeah, because you're not the NFL, dude, the talent and shit. Like,
Yeah, I mean that's
People are
basically what
good.
Dion did. Dion was like a
you're
third, fourth
also
receiver.
putting the risk of your player's injury through the fucking roof by
Yeah.
doubling down in the NFL. Like in high school, that's all cool. You got a 4 or 5 star athlete and he's dominating kids, running for 400 yards. That's cool. In the NFL, you think he's about to do that? He might get popped. He's gonna run into
for
he's
sure.
gonna run into 260, 270 pound dude and just absolutely light him up.
As a wide receiver, you just got to not get tackled. I've said it probably to
Go
you guys
down.
and on here. Marvin Harrison, I don't know if I ever saw him get tackled. Ever.
The
Yeah,
little
He
wide
dive
receivers are
on the
the better.
ground, run out of bounds.
Think about
Tyreek is good
T.Y.
at it.
Hilton. T.Y. Hilton. T.Y. Hilton was like the king of catch a ball and fall down or
because
step
he's
out of
so
bounds.
little. He would just get killed.
It's just smarter. It's just smarter. If you're not
Yeah.
gonna don't take the hit, run out, go
There's
down.
no reason to as well. Like Ty is a great example. Is he gonna fight for an extra 2 yards? No.
Yeah,
He's
like,
gonna
what's the
get
point?
killed or get stood up and then get killed.
Was it Devon A-Chain that got picked up last year and got body slammed right in the preseason? I was like, oh my god. Some big linebacker just literally picked him up and was just like, poof.
Yeah, you could not pay me enough money.
Well, when you're 5'8", 5'9", dude, that's tiny. 5'8", 5'9", even to us. We're not in the NFL, but that'd be small to us.
Yeah.
You better be
something.
super quick.
I'm trying to think if there's anybody on Indy. I agree with you, Bryce. Taking a long shot like Wingo or somebody to score would probably have some juice and be worth a floater.
Plus, I could see Wingo. I mean, there's just if I'm looking at value, Texas defense could score, Silas Bolden could score, Wingo could score. Other than that, I wouldn't love any of this. I mean, Arch Manning's basically at 290 pass yards, 3 passing touchdowns. This is a backup quarterback. This dude was not our starting quarterback coming into the year, and our backup quarterback is set at 300 yards and 3 touchdowns as a regular line.
Yeah, that's wild.
And
he'll probably hit it.
he should hit it because our offense is good enough, but it's just I don't really want to bet that.
Is he really even that big of a downgrade? I get he's not Quinn, but he's still great, right?
Experience and probably knowing the offense, and maybe Quinn's arm talent is pretty good, dude. Quinn can snap it and pretty effortlessly throw it.
That, but even with all that, how much of a downgrade? If Quinn's a 10,
not a huge.
What
downgrade.
is Arch? Is Arch an 8.5?
Probably a 7.5, 7.5. If
and
Quinn's a 10.
I think most people don't have a 4 as a backup.
Most people probably have a 6 to 7, 8 starter.
Yeah, you're right. Exactly. You'd be lucky to have Arch as your starter.
It's just he's young, man. Freshman, and it's a game of look what Notre Dame did, look what NIU did. These teams are better playing older players because they're just more mature. They've been in the system. Their body type is, it can take the abuse a little bit more. Some of them don't even care. Some of them know they're not going to go to the league, and they just put it all on the line that year because they're just done. So it bodes well having older players for a lot of reasons.
Yeah, definitely some value in certain areas and aspects to have the experience.
There is a lot of boosts for USC, Michigan. A lot of build.
I took USC -4.5. I just put 5 on it. I don't think Michigan is even close to as good as they were last year. I don't see that as even a good game potentially, but
it's their second straight game at home that they're gonna, or not second straight game at home. It's 2 out of their last 3 games at home where they're gonna be a 4.5 or beyond, not favorited. If you're not favorited at home, that's saying a lot about what people think of you.
Yeah.
I know that USC is a good team. I know Texas is a great team, but damn, to say that that's what it is, man, that's tough. Yeah, I don't
Lincoln
know.
Riley needs his flowers, man.
Yeah, he's solid. We'll see, bro. They freaking beat one team. They beat LSU. Okay. I mean, I gotta see more than that personally.
Yeah, you're right about that. LSU could be overrated as well.
Brian Smelly,
I think LSU's talent's there. It's almost they're just undisciplined, and I don't know if it's coaching anymore necessarily or getting the talent there because it's there. It's just
Brian Kelly losing to USC was just classic Brian Kelly, and then he almost went out and lost to South Carolina the following week. So it was okay, bud. I mean, that's classic. That's classic BK. Classic.
He's not going to last at LSU, right? Like, you think
No.
I would bet by the end of next year he could be fired.
I would say they
I
definitely got
100%
more
agree.
pressure from boosters and stuff. They probably got like
100% agree.
people saying shit to him like, "Hey, get this guy
If
out of here
he's
if he's not
not
going to be one."
making the playoffs,
If he
this
beats
year,
Alabama
next, he's
though,
out.
that is the grace game for
They're not
LSU
beating
fans.
Bama. No way.
They beat them last year, and I said the same shit, brother.
Yeah, that's true.
I said the same shit
I
last year.
remember
They
that
beat
game.
them, and I was like, "That is the only thing that will keep Brian Smelly around is beating Alabama all the time."
Well,
If
I
they
would
just,
almost argue that's a bad thing. If they play like shit all year and beat Bama and they keep him around because of that, like
it's
that's
just like the
bad.
Michigan OSU though, dude. It's just they're tied together. They're in the SEC.
No,
They
I get
correlate
it,
so
but wouldn't
big.
you rather just lose that game and lose Brian Kelly? Like, I would just rather be like, man, fuck this guy. Like,
I'm always for that. I'm always under the impression of like, if this isn't working in a year or two and we see that, whatever, like I rather get rid of them now and just deal with the loss and then just restart than waiting another year, it not working and you already knew that it wasn't going to work and now you're just like 2 years delayed.
Right.
I rather just keep shit canning people and keep on restarting it. Even head coach, like if it's not working in 3 years, okay, let's move on. Let's go to a different OC, DC. Let's try this. If this isn't working for this head coach, let's move on from OC. I mean, Notre Dame did the right thing going to get Denbrock. I think that's what you should have done. Go get this isn't working. Go get a different OC. But it's to the point now. It's DeMarcus Freeman. Like I don't know. If it don't work, it's falling back on Freeman.
You could say the same thing about Freeman. I don't know if he's on the same level as Kelly, like on the hot seat. But by the
No, I
end of
think
next
Freeman's got more
year,
grace.
let's see how this year plays out. And next year, if it's similar, I'd say by the end of the year, he might be on the hot seat.
Yeah. I think for Freeman's sake, he's got to make the playoff this year. And I mean, you don't want to say he has to make it every year, but like your odds of making the playoff that we should, but your odds of making it this year are significantly better than what they could be next year, considering you're going to lose a ton off that defense. Like, yes, you recruit well, but you're still going to lose an absolute crap
Are you losing
ton
Morrison?
of guys. Morrison will go. Watts will go.
Whole secondary basically taking a hit.
No. Well, it's taking a hit, but only two you're losing are Watts and Morrison. But you've got guys that are good young guys right now. You're gonna lose Mills, Cross, probably Onye. Botello now could come back, which would be a big win. If he takes his medical red shirt. But next year is going to be a lot harder because in theory you're rolling Angeli, Minchie, or Carr next year. So who are you rolling? And
that'll be interesting who they pick. That's almost going to decide Freeman's fate. I've said like these next moves are deciding Freeman's fate. Like you better choose them carefully from Denbrock to his next quarterback to because these next 3 years are important. He's already 3 years in, another 2-3 years, and it's like you have 3 years of losing to 3 terrible teams.
Yeah. We'll see how.
And you're an independent, so you should get an easier ride into the playoff too. So it's like it's to the point where it's not even mattering if you're an independent.
We pay the price though, because we don't ever get a bye in these playoffs. We pay the price for being independent, and they're okay with that. But I'm just saying.
He basically Freeman said they would only join a conference if it really started to like penalize them for not being in the conference because they could still get in and do fine.
I mean, if we're 10-2, we're probably in, borderline. We're probably between 12 and 15, 16.
Right.
So we're like right on the cusp.
It all depends on those other 2 lost teams. There's probably
I know, but that's just what it is every year. If you're a 2-loss team, you're most likely in the top 12 to 16. So it just depends on who we lost to and who other people lost to. So we don't want to leave it up to that.
Right. Well, kind of wrapping stuff up here. Any final thoughts? I know I got to get going, and so does Tyler. Bryce has to decorate his Christmas tree.
It's his Texas tree.
It's a Texas tree, man. It's for Arch, man. Arch the Darch. You should know.
Arch the Darch.
ND
by 35. That's what I'm gonna say. Texas by 1 trillion, literally. Arch Manning lights the world on fire and has 10 touchdowns in his collegiate career in the first 2 games. He's actually gotten decent playing time.
Something me and Tyler talked about real quick was I seen people giving out Arch Manning Heisman props, and I'm just like, how can you bet on a backup quarterback to win the
It's dumb.
Heisman?
That's so
That
dumb.
sounds so stupid because Quinn's coming back in 2 weeks. Quinn's gonna come back and
even
start.
if Quinn didn't come back, I don't think he's going to win
Yeah,
the Heisman.
exactly. Even if he didn't.
It was just stupid.
Texas would have to go on the run of all runs, and someone would have to
Arch
suck.
would have to have
5 touchdowns a
6
game.
touchdowns a game.
Yes, 5 touchdowns a game every game for the rest of the season. It would have to be picture perfect, and then beat Georgia and stuff, all that.
Yeah, like smack them.
But Quinn's going to come back and start literally in a week or
Exactly,
two. So
yeah.
it doesn't. So please don't listen to people, and please don't take that. Don't
Right.
donate your money to the sports book.
I bet Notre Dame scores 45 today. That is why I'm hitting that over at 44. I think we're scoring 45 by ourselves.
Right.
I'm pretty sure I looked up and seen Miami of Ohio passes a little bit more. So I'll go 44-14.
Fair enough.
I think two TDs for them.
Yeah,
Grant's
we'll
gonna
see.
rage on the second TD. Grant's gonna rage.
But all right, well, that's all I've got. You guys got anything else?
No.
All right, well, go
We'll call
Irish.
it a day.
Fuck Texas. That's
Go
how
Texas.
we get down.
We'll see everybody. Thanks for watching.
See ya.